Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Dr. Joey interviews Christian business professionals just like you to discover their secrets for working faith positive in a negative world. Welcome to Faith Positive Radio with Dr. Joey Fawcett.
Faith Positive Nation, if you've ever had a child go off to college, you know that's a very helpless feeling because you're turning them loose in the world and you just pray to God that everything you taught them somehow stuck and will be remembered by them. I also, as our two daughters went through school, also prayed for those people who were there receiving our daughters. And because I knew it would take a strong measure of grace to make your living working with 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And so I would constantly pray for them. Today, I get to introduce you to one of my dear friends who receives our children at a very large university to which she is called. So Faith Positive Nation, help me welcome today Sharlee Lyons. Sharlee is director of the Krannert Leaders Academy, and she's going to tell us more about that and what she does. The Krannert School of Management at Purdue University, which is in West Lafayette. That's the way we would say that down in Nolens, right? Sharlee, welcome to Faith Positive Nation. We're so delighted to have you on today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and it's a pleasure to receive your children as they come to the university.
Thank you. I mean, I know I'm not the first parent to say that kind of thing, right? And so that's a real trust that parents give to you, yes?
I just spoke to one this morning that has a incoming freshman daughter, and at the end of the conversation was able to express my anticipation of her coming to campus and meeting her in person. So it's exciting.
Oh, it is. And you know, the kid, this is the season of life, and this is what you want them to do, because as I told our daughters throughout their growing up years, sweetheart, you're passing through.
Absolutely.
Your mother's a full-time assignment, so do not try to pit me against her or to get what you want from me. You know?
You're right. They're passing through, and our goal is not for them to go back and live in their parents' basements.
Wow.
We're doing our best to,
we are. I know.
Launch them.
So what do you say to a parent, Sharlee, who is having that conversation with you about their child and, you know, the fear and trepidation and the typical anxieties that go along with sending kids off to school?
I just really try to encourage them. You know, they have been great parents, and they have done their very, very best in teaching their son or daughter how to be successful in life. And now's the time to take the training wheels off and let them go right on their own. And, you know, we're going to be here to help them.
Yeah.
I really look at my role at the university as if you've ever taken your children to go bowling, and they put those big bumper pads in the gutters.
Yeah, the bumper guards.
When you go the bumper guards.
They do it for big people too. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if you need it, that's a good thing.
I've seen it done.
That's a good thing. But I look at that's my role in the university. Obviously, the student is the one that's bowling, and they're aiming for a strike at the end of the alley.
Sure.
And my role is the bumper pads. If they get too far left or too far right, kind of bumping them back into where they need to go. But at the same time, they're the one making their way down the alley toward the goal at the end of it all. So.
Yeah. So you can't do it for them, but you can keep them from getting too far out of bounds. I love that.
Absolutely.
So tell us about the Krannert School of Management at Purdue University.
So the work that I get paid to do is at the Krannert School of Management, which is our business school here at Purdue University. And like you said, I serve as the director of the Krannert Leaders Academy. And what I do in my work is I work with high-achieving students on personal and professional leadership development. So I lead them through and help create for them transformational experiences during their college career. I teach a couple of courses, but most of my work is done in the co-curricular space outside of the classroom.
Okay.
And I work with students through doing different assessments, through doing different program developments. I work a lot with our 26 different student clubs and organizations and work with students on leadership development within those clubs and organizations. I host a number of different workshops. My background is in teaching and in corporate training. And so love the facilitation and see the development over a period of time. And so develop workshops. I do a lot of mentoring and a lot of coaching with students as well. So, I heard a phrase the other day that talked about living to your potential. And that's when I heard that, it really stuck with me, because I thought that's the work that I do, is I really want to help students live to their potential. And so that's the work that I do on a daily basis.
And just the way you talk about it, Sharlee, makes me think that you're modeling that for them also, that you're living into your potential, because just the way you talk about it, I can sense the energy that you get. You've really discovered God's divine design for your life, haven't you?
I really have. And it wasn't until I came into this position, I've always looked for different opportunities, and I'm a very curious person. And so about 3 years ago, I sat down and I was like, okay, I've worked for about 20 years and I'm probably going to work for another at least 20 years. Looking back, how do I let those experiences that I have experienced in my 20 years drive where I'm going in the next 20? And I have a wealth of background. I kind of referred to myself as a career mutt for many, many weeks. But then I learned that the positive spin on that is that I have a breadth of backgrounds. So I've done philanthropic work. I've worked in the corporate world. I've worked in financial services. I've worked in education. And so as I was kind of assessing where I was about 3 years ago, I knew that at the end of my career climb, I wanted my ladder to be leaning against an education wall, because I'm truly a teacher at heart. And so I knew that I wanted to stay in education, and I looked for a number of different things in education. There were some positions that came that were offered to me that I did not accept because I didn't feel like they were right. There were a couple of things that I really thought that I wanted that weren't offered to me, and it was all God's leading. And, so many times when you're in the midst of all that, it's hard to understand that. But when you look back at it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's what God was doing.
Yeah, you're peering and squinting through a fog, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when I read the position description of the job that I'm in now, my heart jumped. And I knew there was something to that. And so then I thought, now I just have to get the job. Now the hard work begins.
So God, you've shown me what you want me to do. Now I got to go get it. Right? Exactly. But I really think that my background in all of the different things that I talked about earlier has led me to this spot. Having worked in the corporate world is so important when you work in a business school. Having taught is so important when you work in an institution of higher education. Understanding financial services, I work at a business school. So I think all of those different things really have led me to the place where I am, and I really feel like I am called to what I'm doing, and it's a wonderful feeling. So what is it like? Yes, it is, when we're living into our divine design and we've responded to God's calling on our life. That's sort of, and
you're living your potential in that. It's a beautiful place.
It's really a sweet spot, isn't it?
It is a sweet spot.
Yeah. So you don't have to talk yourself out of bed and into the shower every
morning.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you're in Purdue University, which is obviously a state-supported public university. What a mission field for you as a Christian to love up on these students and to show them the love of Christ. That's got to be part of your heart drive in doing this.
It certainly is. And, first of all, let me say that I never dreamed that I'd be that I would be here.
Oh, really?
God's calling.
Purdue or at a public university?
Okay. When I finished my master's degree in higher education, I had all intentions of working in Christian higher ed.
Okay.
But through the blessings that the Lord has placed in my life, my career has led me to Purdue. The main blessing that led me here was my husband, Todd. He started as a professional firefighter with the Lafayette Fire Department about 13, 14 years ago. And really, when we made that decision for him to go on to the fire department, that kind of made the decision that we were going to be in this community for at least the next 20 years.
Wow.
And so who knows, someday maybe when he retires, I'll get to chase some of my other career dreams, but that's a few years off. So we won't talk about that too much.
I bet you will.
But really, I believe that the Lord blessed our decision to choose my husband as over my career. But through that, he has really blessed my career. And he's planted me here at Purdue University at a place where I never dreamed that I would be 20 years ago when I came out of my master's. But he truly has blessed me. He's planted me here, and I'm going to do the very best that I can to bloom for him while I'm here. So you really have to bloom where the Lord plants you. And I really feel like this is where I'm called and where he has put me for this season.
Even when he sticks you in a pot that you didn't see yourself getting stuck in, right?
Absolutely.
Because your expectation was that he'd be in a Christian university. And he's got you in a large public university. Yes. But you still have that call on your life and that same mission to be Christ in the workplace.
Absolutely.
So how does that work for you there?
So what I hear you asking a little bit is, how does my faith really impact my work?
Absolutely.
Well, one thing I will say is, and I think you would probably hear this from others, colleagues of mine and students that I work with, is that I do not hide or apologize for being a woman of faith. And like I said, the students that I work with and the colleagues that I work with, they know it. Okay. I don't beat them over the head with it, but they know where I stand.
How do they know that?
I think a lot of it is I talk about it.
Okay.
I model it. A friend and I the other day were talking about how sometimes when Christians will speak about things, they almost kind of speak in code. Like I talk about living a blessed life.
Blessed life, yeah.
I talk about being a good steward of the things that the Lord has blessed me with. So there are things like that those little code words that are out there. But I'm very open, like I said, about that. And it's amazing how my openness with my faith opens conversations about faith with students and with colleagues. Wow. That's been the amazing thing for me to see over the course of my career. How when you put it out there, how people kind of are drawn to you with that. My pastor, Stacy Littlefield, he challenges our congregation regularly about how we live the other 97% of our life. He really talks about regular church attenders. If you're a regular church attender, you only spend about 3% of your time actually at church and doing church activities. And the other 97% of your time then is spent outside of the church walls, so to speak. And so really the challenge is, how do we spend that 97% of our time that's outside of the church for the Lord? So for me, I've had to make a conscious choice to see my work as worship. Yes. And like I said, I firmly believe that the Lord has planted me here. And so my work is to bloom for him. And so really seeing my work as worship on the really great days, it's really awesome to consider my work as worship.
When everything's clicking.
When everything's clicking and moving along. Oh, it's great worship, let me tell you.
That's right. That's right. But then there are those other days.
There are those other days. And on those tougher days, I find that it's really motivating. Because I've got to pull myself up and do my very best in order to serve the Lord and where I am. And so my faith really drives the choices that I make on where I work and how I do my work. Does that make sense?
On where and how I do my work. Okay. Tell me a little bit more. The where, you seem very secure in that. God's called you to Purdue University, so you're modeling and you're speaking your faith. Is that primarily the how, the speaking and modeling?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And where I do it. that I'm not in a Christian environment.
Right. Yeah, in an overtly Christian environment.
Exactly.
They're
Yes,
Christians
overly.
there because we're back to your dropping code words, like
Right.
blessed and
Right.
steward and things like that. We find each other in large public settings, like the one in which you are. But in that 97% of the time, how do people know that we're Christian? What is there about us that attracts them to us? Because that's what you're talking about. What we refer to in Faith Positive in a Negative World is that attraction factor, part of the conceived core practice. It's that Holy Spirit within us that gives expression to the agape love that we receive from Jesus Christ. People are starving and dying for that. I mean, and I'm thinking particularly 18 to 21-year-olds, some of whom are away from home for the first time. There's just that openness to being loved.
Well, and I think love hits it right on the head. They will know that we are Christians by our love.
By our love, by the way we love each other, right?
And
not by the way we judge each other or criticize each other or shoot our wounded, but by the way we love each other.
People can sense love, I think. When you get on the elevator and you're not looking at your phone, but you're looking at them.
And you smile
and you look at them and
people.
you smile and you ask them, how are you doing today? And when they just, answer you with,
you're talking to me on the elevator.
And that I really want to know you.
Yes. We see each other on this elevator every morning. Maybe we should take a second and at least learn our names. One of my favorite things to do, going to public buildings on elevators, what's the first thing everybody does when they get on an elevator, right?
Turn around, yep.
Walk in, turn around, face the door. I'm the guy that stands with his back to the door.
Why does that not surprise me?
And I'm smiling.
That's right.
How you doing? I mean, geez, we get so few years to be a positive impact for Christ. And it's amazing to me how smiles turn people's days around. So it's that love attraction factor that you're talking about, that's how we're known. As opposed to being a mean Christian, that's judgmental or criticizing or lacks integrity or something like that. So there's a wonderful, unique opportunity for you there on the campus.
Absolutely. And you got to be intentional about it. That's what I've learned.
Yes. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you say to yourself, I'm going to smile. I'm going to share the love. And I get the sense that that's what you do there on the campus.
Well, some of it is you can smile, but then there's a real kind of an intimate smile, like I really want to get to know you.
Authenticity.
An authentic smile, I think, is and not just a quick smile, not a freaky long smile, but
you have to watch that, right?
But really, really, how do you show people that you love them through your actions is so important, and they pick up on that.
Yeah, and Christ talked so much about that, going the extra mile, giving your cloak, just really putting other people first and serving them instead of yourself.
Absolutely.
That's a stark contrast to the way the rest of the world functions. And that's how you minister there on the campus of Purdue University.
Some days it's easier than others, but it's something that I have to be very intentional about.
It is. So
we get caught up in our own little worlds.
Oh, we do. We become the center of our own orbit, right? Yeah. So what about those days? Those days when it's a little more challenging. What are some of those challenges that you face, Sharlee?
The challenges, I think, for me in being a wife and a mother and working in higher education, one of the challenges that I really face a lot is living with enough margin in my life and work. Earlier this week I was home with a sick child, and that margin was made very evident to me on that day when I was home, because there were things that needed to be done here at work. And being able to, when something doesn't go as planned, how do you adjust, and how do you have enough margin to be able to adjust? So I really struggle sometimes with that whole margin piece. I think some people may refer to it as work-life balance, although I don't think balance is, balance is about the time you're balanced, oops, something happens and you're off balance again. I think you referred to it as harmony, which is a wonderful way to look at it. But
balance is great for checkbooks, but not so much for people.
Exactly.
Because I love what you just said about, when things don't go the way I thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
My experience is I'm far more surprised when they do go the way I thought they would than when they don't.
Yes.
So tell me about how you create as a Christian, as a wife, as a mom, as a businesswoman. How do you create that margin for yourself?
I'm not sure it's all me. Some of it I try to create, but I am blessed to have wonderful teams around me, both in life and work.
Beautiful. Tell me about those teams.
Well, if you know me, you'll know that my family is my first job. And many times at the end of the day, when I'm wrapping up here, I will laugh to my colleagues, well, it's time to go do my first job.
I love it. That's great.
I saw a quote the other day that really stuck with me, and I've got it right here on my computer. It's by Anna Quindlen, and I don't know who Anna is, but I love this quote from her. She said, "Don't ever confuse your life and work. The second is only part of the first."
Boy, say that again. Somebody in Faith Positive Nation's on a treadmill right now. They need to hear that again. Yeah.
Don't ever confuse your life and work. The second is only part of the first.
Wow.
So remembering that work is part of your life, but not all of it.
Not all of it. And what happens is we confuse the two and we think all of life is work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm
but going back to those wonderful teams, because I want to give credit here to those wonderful people. Family is my first job. And so, my husband, Todd, is my wingman. He's my partner.
He's incredible.
He is. And so looking at, he is a professional firefighter. And so he has an unusual schedule. And really one of those schedules that you don't understand unless you live it.
Who else works 24 hours a day, right?
he works a 24-hour shift. And so, there's some days he's on when, hey, it's all me, but I have parents that live close. My mom and dad are close, and so they are able to help as well. So our lives and the way we put that team together might look a little bit different than some people that might have a spouse that works a regular 9-to-5 job. But then I also have a wonderful team of professionals and colleagues that I work with here in the Krannert School of Management, who not only understand my priorities, but really not only do they understand it, but they have a wonderful admiration and agree with those priorities. And it's great to work in an environment like that. And many times they are the ones that will kind of hold me accountable to some of those things, like, hey, Sharlee, it's later. Isn't it about time for you to get out of here or what have you? So, so the wonderful teams in my life absolutely help me with that margin piece and help keep me in line.
So the bumper guards, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're the bumper guards for me.
I'm feeling that, man. We all need some people to man our bumper guards, don't we? Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that you and your work team share core values where family is first.
Absolutely.
And if you need to be out, take care of a sick child, then that's what you do. Correct? Yeah.
And they jump in and help when I'm out, and I do the same for them. When they need to be away as well. So very blessed.
Absolutely. And I love the way in humility you credit these teams. So
we don't get anywhere by ourselves.
But some of us think we've been solo drivers. We want to be in the HAV lane by ourselves, and we fashion ourselves a self-made woman or self-made man. And you're right. The reality is none of us got to where we are today by ourselves.
Now, don't get me wrong, Joey. A lot of times I like to be the driver and have everybody else in the car.
Well, ambitious people are that way, right? You want to drive.
I like to be the driver, but I want other people in the car.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. Yeah. My great challenge is sometimes I think I'm the only driver.
Exactly.
Regardless of the people in the car with me or the Holy Spirit who really needs to take over.
Wasn't there a Carrie Underwood song, Jesus Take the Wheel?
Jesus Take the Wheel. Right. Absolutely. But I love the way you, in humility, give credit where credit's due, and credit both the work team and the home team, if you will, and the extended family team. That's your village.
That's absolutely my village.
Yeah,
and my family's village.
Yeah, and it's absolutely beautiful that how God leads us onto teams. We refer to them, as you know, as faith positive dream teams. How we can all pull together out of that same core value and really work with each other. A lot better than other types of environments you might have worked in, right?
Absolutely.
Or all of us have worked in. I mean, toxic environments where it's dog eat dog, So that's a beautiful thing to hear you testify to that. So give me an example of one workshop that you do as a part of the Leader Academy that really maximizes the potential of these young people, and I know charts them on a course of living their potential for the rest of their lives.
Well, one of my favorites, I think my all-time favorite workshop to do is I am a Gallup Strengths certified coach and trainer.
Strengths Finder, yeah.
Strengths Finder, and that for me was an aha moment when I did it almost 10 years ago. And I wish that I would have had that aha moment earlier in my career.
When you were 20, right?
Absolutely, because I think it might have changed. I think it might have changed maybe some of the areas in which I looked to work. Not that I have any regrets about what I did, but I think it might have made a difference in some of the roles that I looked for and how I would do my work. And so for me, that was so powerful. And like I said, it was a light bulb moment for me that I love the concept of strengths. It's positive psychology. It's not looking at what's wrong with people and how do we fix it. It's looking at what is right with people and how do we do more and how do we help them live in a space where they work in their strengths and become extraordinary. Not that they aren't aware of their weaknesses and maybe not aware of where some of those blind spots are, but how do they take their strengths, find ways to live in those strengths and just really become extraordinary. I love the mindset of that. I love being able to teach it. I love the aha moments that I see, the light bulbs that come on. Absolutely. The teacher in me loves seeing that. And so that's probably my all-time favorite workshop to do with the students. And you can't just do one workshop. As a matter of fact, I was at a training session with the Gallup organization several weeks ago that talked about they really need to hear that about 24 times in talking about their strengths over the period of their 4-year career at the university. And we hope it's only 4. Some get done in 3.5. We do actually have some students that get done in 3.5, which is fantastic.
And then there's the 6-year plan.
And yes, and there's some that like us so well that they want to stay. But over the course of 4 years, how do we reinforce that? It really needs to be enforced about 24 different times in the course of their 4 years for them to really be able to understand and articulate their strengths.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could do that? Of course, part of my background's in higher ed too. Wouldn't it be cool if you could do that as an incoming first-year student? Discover
Actually, this year was the first year that we did that.
You did that with first years?
We did with first year students. We, one of my colleagues, Roger Stewart, who is a wonderful friend, actually gave money to the university for us to be a strengths campus. And so during our orientation session, which is known as Boiler Gold Rush, each of the students took the assessment coming in. They did a brief introduction piece during orientation, and then we work with that in the different schools here within the university on how they kind of hand it off to us at that point. and work with it. So now I'm trying to figure out how to get those 24 different touch points in the course of the transformational experiences that I was talking about with our Leaders Academy students.
Yeah, well, ideally 8 semesters, so that would be about 3 touches per semester, right? So how do you integrate that?
Yep, that's what I'm working on.
I love the intentionality of StrengthsFinders, first of all, because it comes from a wellness model, as you're talking about. And so often when we're trying to discover who God's created us to be in our divine design, we're told, go pursue this career because of the money. And so we come to college wanting to do that, and that's fish out of water. But what if we discovered our strengths, that wellness, instead of telling us what we can't do and therefore think that we ought to be able to do that when we really weren't designed to do that or called to do that? So what if we could discover that as an 18-year-old? You want to talk about Christian stewardship? That's the ultimate for me, because you're helping people maximize that potential, right?
Yes. Yep. And, not only how do they do that in their career, but how do they do that in life? Because we know that the career is only part of that life, like we talked about earlier. So.
Work is just part of that life. So it makes them a better spouse, makes them a better parent, makes them a better employee or employer.
Yep. And they become extraordinary at those things because they're working in their strengths.
I don't know if you ever read the book, he's passed now, but Leo Buscaglia wrote a book called Living, Loving, and Learning. And it was about an academy of animals. And it's a great story in there where they expected the bird to dig like a gopher and the gopher to fly like a bird and things like that. That's the mental mindset I take when I think about StrengthsFinders.
Yep.
Let the bird be the bird and the gopher be the gopher, and let them excel at what they do.
And those 34 strengths are put into 4 different domains of leadership and strengths. And so you have your relationship builders, you have your influencers, you have your strategic thinkers, and you have your executors. And so that's when you're talking about the Academy of Animals being able to see where their strengths are and how they bring a best value to a team as well.
So you're really using StrengthsFinders to help unpack the spiritual DNA of these students, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Wow. You're on a mission from God right there at Purdue University, aren't you, Sharlee?
Yes,
I love it.
I'm just thankful that he blessed me with that aha moment with strengths 10 years ago.
Oh, yes. And I thank God that you're passing it on. Because
Thank you.
You found the good stuff, and now you're sharing it. You didn't keep it to yourself. Sharlee Lyons, Faith Positive Nation, is our guest today. She is the director of the Krannert Leaders Academy at the Krannert School of Management at Purdue University. Our guests always share their favorite Bible verse because that's who we are. We're people of the book, and Faith Positive Nation always wants to know what a favorite Bible passage or Bible verse is. Have you got one?
Hard to choose just one, as you know. So many words of wisdom in there. But
a lot of good stuff.
As a college athlete, I loved Philippians 4:13, which is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I think as an athlete, I like that just because I needed strength, in a number of different sense of the word. And I don't know, I kind of steered away from that for a little while. But what I found about that scripture is that it is so poignant and it can mean so many different things to us at different times and in different circumstances in our lives. So I'm kind of back to Philippians 4:13. Maybe it's always been there. It just surfaces different at different times in their life.
Well,
I believe that the Lord gives me strength and drive and the things to do. And hopefully everything that he has given me to do, my desires and my strengths and those kinds of things, I just hope that they point back to him.
Yes. And I'm standing here thinking about StrengthsFinder, and I can do all things through him who strengthens me.
And he gives you your strengths.
Yes, indeed. It's a part of who we are. 7 billion of us know 2 of us exactly alike.
Right.
What kind of divine creator do we serve? That's awesome. Sharlee, thank you. I pray God's blessings upon you, Todd, your 2 amazing children, your extended family, the Faith Positive Dream Team you have right there in the Krannert Leadership School. Thank you so much for the gift of your time. We pray God's blessings on everything that you do and say and touch. And thank you from all the parents of those kids that are sharing their children with you. Thanks for the positive impact that you're making for the cause of Christ with them.
Thank you, Dr. Joey. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Faith Positive Radio, the Christian business coaching conversation that increases your faith with greater joy at work so you love God and others more. Suggest guests and ask questions when you email Dr. Joey at info@getpositive.today. And be sure to get your free gift of the 5 positive business conversations to have today coaching program at getpositive.today. Until next time, may God bless you with everything your heart can hope for and more than your mind can imagine.